Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be looking at Season 3 of Breaking Bad. There's a lot to talk about because this is where things really start to get interesting. Walter and Jesse are now working for Gus, who was introduced in Season 2, and they work in a meth lab. You've got some characters from Season 2 returning and they have bigger roles this season, and things get really chaotic, but in a good way. That's all I can mention without getting into spoilers. So, this is a season that I really enjoyed. There is so much to talk about, and I'm just gonna talk about certain things at random because there's a lot to remember this season by, so let's get into it. So firstly, the meth lab. Let's talk about that. It's one of the most memorable and iconic locations in the entire show, and Walter and Jesse's interactions in the meth lab are always fun, regardless of what situation they're in. Gus, who runs the lab, we really get to see his true colors as a character. He seemed so mild-mannered in Season 2, and he is that way throughout the show, but we see a different side of him in this season. Hector Salamanca is back, and this time he's not alone. He's brought his two nephews, the Salamanca twins, as many people call them. These guys are terrifying, and the weird thing is they're silent for the most part. And I think that's basically it. They're silent but deadly. From the very first episode, they alone draw you into the season. Walter's Heisenberg persona and his involvement in the underworld of drug dealing, it's a secret that he has to keep from his friends and family, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but somebody finds out, and where they go with that throughout the rest of the show is interesting. I'll let you guess who it is. Jesse is recovering from trauma following an unfortunate incident from Season 2, which you'll know if you've watched the show, although there is some conflict between him and Walter in the process. Walter's brother-in-law Hank is still obsessed with the whole Heisenberg case, and it kind of puts his life in danger the deeper he goes into it. Mike and Saul are back from Season 2, and aside from just appearing in more episodes this season, we get better understandings of, who they are and what they do. There's a couple of new characters this season, such as Andrea, her son Brock, Victor, and Gail. This season does a good job at introducing them because they do become important later in some capacity. Walter and his wife Skylar are having some marriage troubles, and I liked how all of that played out. This season also had the iconic pizza throwing scene, a scene so iconic that people literally went to the White residence and they started throwing pizzas there, and it got out of hand, and Vince Gilligan, who created the show, begged people to stop doing that because, it was disturbing the peace really. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that scene was improvised. Just the way the pizza landed perfectly on the roof. And now, let's talk about the Fly episode. The most divisive episode in the history of Breaking Bad. Some call it a masterpiece, while others call it boring, pointless filler that you can completely skip. And I understand that, but the episode itself is incredible for a variety of reasons. The episode is beautiful in its simplicity, from its opening scene to just the basic premise of it. Walter and Jesse in the meth lab trying to kill a fly for more or less over an hour, and it actually kind of helps them take their minds off of everything that's going on in their lives. That's just the way I see it, and they have really good monologues, and there's some great cinematography in that episode, and like I said, they just put their troubles aside for a while, though they do kind of bring it up eventually, but I get what they were going for with this episode. It's okay if you hate it, that's fine. At the end of the day, art is subjective. And the weird thing is, this episode was directed by Rian Johnson, aka the guy who ruined Star Wars. I still stand by that, and yeah, that's never gonna change. If you disagree, that's fine, I'm not stopping you. But anyway, he actually did a really good job with this episode. In fact, he would go on to directing 2 more episodes of Breaking Bad, and they were fantastic too. But the real reason why this episode was made was because there needed to be some budget cuts made in this season, and they needed at least one episode to have a budget that was relatively smaller than the rest of the episodes, and they picked this one, and they did a good job. The season ended on a fantastic cliffhanger that had people debating for probably an entire year until the show resumed with its 4th season. Now when it comes to the cons, well, there aren't any at all this time. Yeah, it's flawless from start to finish. I don't think I have any issues with this. It was fantastic throughout. And yeah, that's pretty much my review, so definitely check this out if you haven't already. And next time we're gonna look at season 4. So thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe, and hit the notification icon. Be safe during this time, and I'll see you soon.